Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope we're having a fantastic day. We're taking a quick look here again at Bitcoin, double checking a couple of key factors here. We are seeing a bit of a sell-off, big surprise, right? Profits being taken early in the day when the traditional markets open up. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to quickly look at some back-end data too as well. So welcome aboard. Thanks so much for watching. And if you're new to the channel, consider joining CryptoCash.tag as a site link down below. Quick congrats, I have to actually say this because it's nice to be able to see this in this market. 32% profit from ICP for a short. Concurrently, we got a phantom long, 31% if you round up a little bit in 20 hours. Awesome profits there, folks. We did have to close out a CASPA short recently, but if you take a look at it now, actually, it's a matter of fact, it's almost at break even. So if you want to consider closing that, go ahead. We definitely did a little early there, making sure we only took a small loss there, about a 5% loss. Either way, Bitcoin, what do we want to talk about here? Let's look at the back-end data, kind of see what's going on. Big surprise, we got this lower liquidity sweep here from the last few days here, last couple of days. That level at about 68,600. So now that level's been swept, we could see the price recover, but don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of liquidation to the downside here. Most of it's at that 65K mark, mainly because that's close to where the price had bounced here recently, roughly a week ago, when the price pulled back last week. So having said all that, we're still not in the clear by any stretch. We're kind of smack dab in the middle of a lot of liquidation, both to the upside and downside. But now that we've hit this this last 3 or 4 day sweep, we could very well see the price stabilize. Again, no guarantees on that, but we do have a support level here based on recent highs that we could very well consider as a potential pivot point. Okay, so in other words, right here, the more recent highs where the price actually kind of came up to this 68,600 mark. If you watched my videos at that point, you'll know that was somewhat of a resistance level before we broke out, and now we're retesting that same range. Okay, so no surprise there, kind of standard stuff. Again, the Bitcoin increase here recently, we're going to see a lot of shenanigans like this where the price rakes up for a few days and then rips down in 1 or 2 days, or the inverse where it just bleeds out and then eventually just takes off. Like, it's really hard to kind of anticipate. You want to try to get ahead of it, but it can be difficult because there's confirming factors are less frequent right now than they were before. Which is problematic for those who are confirming traders, right? Just like myself, for example. I do like to trade on confirmation, and we get a lot of false breakouts and false positives. It can be very, very frustrating for some. I'm frustrated because I want to provide more opportunities to our members here, and there's less available. So just know, absolutely doing my best to find some good opportunities, but it's a tricky market, and I think it's important to take less trades overall right now. Okay, so taking a look at the daily time frame, simple moving averages, we're still over the 20-day SMA. That's averaging itself out at 68.5. Now, keep in mind, it's not like a key level support. The price is going to bounce off that level, but it kind of already did, and it may actually hold. So to keep in mind, 20-day SMA is just kind of a trend setter, more so than anything. We do look at the MACD, got a nice little MACD FU there once more, as per usual. That's why you do not trust the MACD convergence on the daily time frame until it actually fully converges or diverges. Same thing here as well. We can see RSI holding over 50. That's actually positive. Stochastic trying to swing down, and money flow index is low. These are all fairly bearish signs. Not great. We got a bearish engulfing candle here today as well. So the truth is the price could continue lower, and we might want to expect it to do so. That's just kind of the bottom line. So depending on where you're at with your positions, you may want to consider closing some, of course, depending on the direction you're heading. There are some strong coins out there, but very few are performing like Phantom is. For example, we got that long yesterday before the price broke out. Nice one. I'll actually cover that here in a little bit. But what we're looking at here with Bitcoin, again, is this support range here. Again, previous resistance range at 68.6, 68.5 is a round number. Okay, so easy to remember 68.5 probably. So just know we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attempts to break it. The 7th attempt broke through on the 4-hour, and we're coming back down to retest that as a potential support. I want to emphasize the word potential because it's not a guarantee, but it is a possibility we're going to see a bounce there. We do have increased volume to the downside here, showing us that we're starting to see more buying pressure. MACD is diverging, of course. Stochastic's almost maxed out, implying we could see this little bounce or a pivot here now. However, we are now under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is pretty low. So while we could get a bounce off of 30 on the money flow index, that's not really a super common thing. It's more like 20 or 10s. We could very well see the price recover from here, but it's best to presume the price will continue lower. However, if we do take a look at TD sequential, we can see we've been running in this direction for about, honestly, if you add the first 3 candles up, we're about 8 candles into this downtrend. Okay, hypothetically, that puts us in the range of about 4 to 12 more hours of further downside before the price recovers and bounces. Again, generally speaking, most things happen in 9s, and you'll see the price action continue lower until it doesn't. Okay, so at this point, we should probably presume the price is going to continue lower, but if we can consolidate sideways, maybe hold this level at 68.5 or higher today, I think that'd be an important factor here to be able to sustain the price action. We're going to look at the Ichimoku cloud, and pretty surprising here, folks. We're below the cloud, pretty solid. Okay, now it's one of those things where I don't recommend necessarily jumping into a short right now because it is overextended. There's no other way around it. I mean, we hit a 9 on TD sequential sometime throughout the night, and then we went sideways, then down back again. So we're at a 5. Once more, hypothetically, 4 to 12 more hours of continuation to the downside or sideways, right? Keep in mind, you can consolidate just as well as you can retrace. So at this point here, consolidation at this level is important because, again, we saw a lot of resistance here. Hopefully we see a lot of support here. Okay, that's the general concept. But again, we lose this level. The next key level for us, again, based on Fibonacci, would be roughly about low 68K and or worst case 67.3. Absolute worst case, and let's touch on this here too as well. This is Bitcoin dominance. It's starting to stabilize, by the way. That's not super important right now because we know that alts were surging yesterday. What I want to talk about is the CME gap here. The CME gap here for the most recent time frame is just about, it pretty much got filled. 68.4 is the lower level there, and we went down to 68.5. Okay, so again, I wouldn't be surprised we see that fully filled. And then, of course, we take a look down below. There's a previous CME gap that wasn't completely filled, only partial, as low as about 64,000. I'm rounding it up a little bit, but 64K, I would say, is an absolute worst case scenario for us here if Bitcoin continues lower. Okay, so those are just some levels there. They're not always guaranteed to hit, but it's a distinct likelihood that they are. And I think the probability of CME gaps getting filled is like really high. It's like somewhere in a range of 80-90%. It's pretty large. So anyways, having said all that, if this happens today or later, just something you want to be mindful of, okay? But at this point here, I don't see any reason to consider shorting. I think it's kind of late to consider shorting, even though we have all green lights here to leave a short position open if you have one. The inverse applies where, if you're in a long, you may want to consider waiting for confirmation before you take a long. We took a long position. We hit 3 of our 5 profit targets, took a good, 50% off Bitcoin all the way up to 72K from 67.4. So we're in good shape there. Let the rest ride. I mean, we typically have 2 or 3 profit targets at the very end that are slightly egregious, and we have those in place just to kind of let the price run just in case you were to continue. So again, if you've hit your first, second, or third profit target as a community member with our trades, you've taken majority of your profit anyways. So that's why letting the rest ride is kind of okay, keeping some skin in the game just in case it continues the way you want it. Okay. Again, different strategies for everybody, but to my community members who don't like that approach, simply use 3 profit targets instead of 5. And there's nothing wrong with not going that far. It's a little egregious depending on who you are anyway. So anyways, conversation for another day. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this made sense and I clarified this correctly. Comment below if you could. Let me know how you feel about Bitcoin. Obviously, love to hear it. And if you could help out, of course, cryptocash.tech is a site if you want to consider jumping on over. That's more so to help you, but you can help me in the meantime by just liking, following, and commenting below. I deeply appreciate that. We'll see you all in the next video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.